Today on the Topping Show, Representative Jasmine Crockett goes on Jimmy Kimmel and says policies don't matter. Teens in Chicago suburb go viral for robbing an elderly couple. A Houston man who assaulted an old man with dementia was, lowered the bail and just attacked a woman. Ford launches a white glove treatment for their $100,000 trucks. And Stellantis recalls 50 other vehicles, including Dodge, Alfa Romeo, and Maserati. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. I say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's a joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase with Picatinny rail adapters so you can mount it to any standard AR-15, like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more and see me shooting a flamethrower. Lastly, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Ford launching a Platinum Services program, but the trucks do start at $100,000. List price, I have to clarify that. It seems like most Ford truck these days, well, they are about $100,000 after they dealer markups, but I partially jest. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Motor1.com, specifically Anthony Allens, who's a writer over there. And they say, quote, Ford will let you text a truck expert if you buy a $100,000 Super Duty. The Super Duty's new Platinum Plus package is launching now and comes with an expert to answer all of your questions. Which, yeah, that also shows how insane trucks have gotten over the past couple, 100 years. Back in the day, a truck was cheaper than a car because it's considered farm equipment. It's meant to be reliable, cheap, and durable. Now it's, not any of those things. It's $100,000, more recalls than you could possibly recall, pun kind of intended. And, yeah. But people still buy them left and right, and sometimes your job does need it. And other times you just want to haul, one box of mulch, per year. Well, bag, but nevertheless. Now, they say, quote, last year, Ford enhanced their 2025 Super Duty lineup by adding a new Platinum Plus package. Designed to entice the model's most premium customers, it combines luxury features, technology, and rugged capabilities into one option. Ford is just now beginning to deliver a decked-out heavy-duty pickup trucks to consumers, launching its new ownership experience, Platinum Plus owners for the process. The experience offers several post-sales goodies like complimentary year of Ford's connected services, which includes a Ford security package. This also comes with the ability to directly connect to Ford Expert via unlimited one-on-one texting. This is awkwardly worded, though I think grammatically still technically correct. They're there to answer any questions about the truck and its features, so you don't have to resort to the dealer or questionable AI answers from the internet, which I also can't help but think that truck expert over at Ford is probably using the internet too and AI, or I can't help but think the person probably isn't in Dearborn, Michigan at the headquarters, probably in India. Now, they say, quote, owners will also get access to exclusive events like Ford's Towing Bootcamp and 2 years of premium maintenance coverage, which covers all engine oil and filter change, tire rotation, brake pads and linings, wiper blades, shock absorbers, and more. Ford will entice customers to spend even more on a one-time 25% coupon for Ford accessories while boosting the brand's blue tier of Ford Pass Rewards program. Here you can see the inside of a $100,000 plus truck. It is nice. They let you look. They do let you recline the seat back all the way down so you can sleep while you're waiting for a tow. Now here's the interior there with a bunch of technology that will inevitably fail. Now they say, quote, the Platinum Plus package isn't cheap, starting at $99,455. They also note that includes the $2,095 destination charge. The F350 version starts at $100,995, while the F450 Platinum Plus cost $105,630 to start. Wow. The package is only available in the Platinum trim that costs $6,500. The pack is also limited to the Super Duty crew cab with the high output diesel engine, which delivers 500 horsepower and 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. Now, I did know that Ford doesn't expect many of the buyers to flock to the Platinum Plus package It's for the specific buyer, and it feels natural for Ford to elevate owning a $100,000 pickup to a luxury level experience. Customers are certainly paying the money to earn some perks, which, again, I don't know if Ford's been listening to this show, but I've been saying for probably a year plus that Ford needs to have some type of platinum white glove experience. Well, they should have done that, I mean, for more than just the Ford GT, which again was an over $1 million vehicle. But again, a lot of business owners that buy a lot of vehicles, like, construction, lawn care, maintenance companies, a lot of them will buy fleet purchases too, and they're usually cyclical every maybe 2, 3, 5 years, depending on how you depreciate assets. But again, I always thought it'd be smart of Ford to have a great relationship with those business owners who, again, will be a more high frequency buyer. Now, this appears to be going to the individual consumer. Maybe. I can't but think you might be a farmer if you're getting that tax deduction. It blows my mind an individual may very well spend $100,000 plus on a truck that will depreciate like a rock. I know those people are out there, don't get me wrong, but I'm actually surprised they're not spending more time, resource allocation going after those business owners who are going to do the fleet sales. Now, granted, I know that's another division at Ford, but why not just have that same white glove experience? Now, we'll see how many people actually go for this. Again, the list price is $100,000 plus. I can't but wonder how much the dealer will also mark that up. But man, interesting marketing technique by Ford. And again, this makes sense. The most profitable thing that they manufacture, not reliable, but the thing that Ford does best, low bar, but it's the Ford pickup truck. It's the best selling truck in the United States. You got the Ford F-150, 250, 350, 450, 550 plus, whatever. And it makes sense for them to have a program where, again, this is also going to be, let's be honest, highly profitable. I mean, a couple more pieces of technology, a couple more scraps of leather, a person on the phone, probably in India, and it's $6,500. And again, it's smart to have these like events where you can go there, learn about your truck. Again, it's almost like they're emulating Lamborghini and some of these other top brands where they have these exclusive events for people who buy the best of the best of the best cars. And again, it's great for building brand loyalty. You do get an increase in profitability. So we'll see in terms of the scale of this, how popular it is. I mean, anecdotally, when I think of individuals who have Ford pickup trucks, I mean, shoot, they usually probably $50,000 to $70,000. I don't know anyone as an individual who's buying six-figure trucks, but granted, it's a small sample size. And let me know, do you think it's a good idea for Ford? Do you think this will overall elevate the brand and make it a little better? Or do you think kind of waste of money and time? No one's going to buy this except for like 2 people who work at Ford. Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the Cultural Problem podcast, yeah, some teens in a Chicago suburb robbing an elderly couple, and we'll see if they actually get arrested or not. Now, this is brought to us thanks to End Wokeness, which is, he says, quote, last night, quote unquote, 3 teens robbed an older couple at gunpoint in Chicago, 0 arrests made. Now, I did a little research. It's actually a suburb of Chicago. Though again, Chicago is kind of like a virus in terms of spreading out. Even when I grew up in the Midwest, even back then, the crime was starting to multiply. And it wasn't just a downtown shitty as Chicago that was, unbearably, basically unlivable and crime-ridden. It's unfortunately going to all the suburbs as well. Now, this is, I was going to say, thankfully, I mean, no one got hurt, so silver lining, thankfully, fiscally, they lost their stuff, but it's only about 16 seconds long. No one got hurt, but it's still scary because this elderly couple is obviously not, they don't see this coming. So he's wearing a sweatpants and a hoodie, which, as we all know, good man always suit up. You always look a lot better. That's how, unfortunately, the man being robbed, he looked sharp. He did suit up, but he did not, I don't think of an appropriate term, stay strapped, so to say, with a handgun.
You got it. Here, take it. Take it. Take everything. Take everything. Take everything.
Even his blazer.
Take everything. Take everything.
And again, in terms of the person that's being confronted, they did a good job in terms of trying to diffuse the situation. And again, a lot of people are saying in the comments, you should have just shot these SOBs. Morally, yeah, I tend to agree with that, though I don't advocate violence on the YouTube, of course. It's one of those things where, again, you're with your wife. It wouldn't go down like this if it was in Texas, but it's also Illinois, which I personally mispronounce as a slight to that shitty state. And a lot of people are saying, why didn't this homeowner, why didn't he just, shoot that SOB? Well, Right now, it looks like they're getting back from an event, so they're walking up to their front door, or they're just about to, or they're just leaving the house. Now, in Illinois, well, to the NRA's credit, they finally did something right, low bar. On December 12th, 2012, they did sue the state successfully so that the state now has to give you a concealed handgun license if you apply. The issue, like most corrupt leftist places, they make it prohibitively difficult. We're talking 12 plus hours if they have class time, which the average individual is quite burdensome. Also pretty expensive because you're paying for a long class. Many states are becoming constitutional carry, which, again, for safety and legality, I always recommend taking the classes just because you then know the legal ramifications if you have to take a shot. Even if it's a legal shot, you're still going to be arrested. You're still going to be culturally, maybe even roasted, maybe lose your job. And there's a lot of variables that no one should look forward to dealing with. And again, in Illinois, it's a very anti-gun place. You can't even own, they got so many restrictions on what you can own to defend yourself, which I find obviously abhorrent. But again, if you're in that area, most people, it's such a pain in the rear and expense to get a CHL or concealed handgun license that a lot of people don't. In fact, just to buy ammunition in Illinois, it's one of 2 states you need a license for that. It's called a FOID card, which I believe is, well, when I got it, it was like $10, maybe it's $20 now. It's a standard, it's the same background check you do when you buy, a standard firearm. You're doing a 4473 paperwork process, but it's an issue where they do that just to discourage people because if you don't have that license, well, then you can't buy ammo or guns. It's a terrible state, not just economically, but culturally and, obviously for your safety. And this pre-val got 975,000 views and 22,000 likes. Now, one of the first comments is from Paul Zazupa saying, quote, "What's Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson going to do about this black and white crime? Nothing. He hates white people. Listen to his racist press conference. He also hates black people. He's done nothing to help them. Johnson is low IQ, failure, and the worst approval of the U.S. worst approval in U.S. mayor history." Yeah. Got 808 likes. 868 likes. Scrolling down, Democrat Media TM has a meme. It's a guy from looks like the 1950s. It says, "Teens mean black," gained 1,000 likes, which again, if you look at the mainstream media, very few of them are covering this, but even the local news, they're saying 3 teens, and one that we can see, and again, we can't really see the getaway driver, but the one we see first probably is a teen. He looks pretty young. But yeah, in terms of the other gentleman who was robbing them, looked a little bit more elder. Now, Gunther Eagleman says, quote, "Blue City Problems," getting 692 likes, which, again, this was a suburb of Chicago. Scrolling down more and more. You have, this is a very famous quote, meme, it goes all over social media when there's stuff like this, posted by Mirthful Moments. And he says, quote, "The best quote ever." And it's a quote from Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Cooper, United States Marine Corps, saying, quote, "A violent crime is to be curbed. It is only the intended victim who can do it. The felon does not fear the police, and he fears neither judge nor jury. Therefore, he must be taught to fear his victim." Getting 259 likes. Should get 700, but it didn't. CRE, I'm not sure if he's being funny. What is it? CRE is a, quote, "This profile is managed by a handful of over 30 people. No individual is solely responsible." That sounds shady as hell. Or trying to make it so no one could get angry at you individually. What the heck? Maybe a way to avoid your responsibility. Now, this individual says, quote, "They seemed like they were asking to be robbed." I got 50 likes. One of the first responses, and they were nearly ratioed, comes from Stomo saying, quote, 30 people and not one thought this was the stupidest thing to ever say. Game 48. Hey, 49 likes. Just needs 2 more likes to get ratioed. A lot of the comments are saying we've been race bait. A lot of people saying you're a troll. Going back to the main comment section. I also have A Rebel Cole saying, quote, "On their front porch, that is really out of control. Mayor Brandon did this." Game 48 likes. I also have David Armiano saying, quote, Glenview, Illinois. I raised my kids there, safe and loving neighborhood, and now it's just proof that nowhere is crime-free anymore. Game 53 likes. Well, Chicago suburbs. There are still some great places that are not crime-ridden. And let's try. Yeah, not too many contrarian comments here. Do one more. Let's see, Nick Knock says, quote, "Politicians have effed over the African-American community more than any others. Meanwhile, the representatives are busy in El Salvador. They literally get less than illegals. The system was designed a long time ago by racist MFers. Meanwhile, they're saving Ukraine." Getting 24 likes, 16 responses. Oh, are they ratioed? No. Western chauvinists responded saying, quote, "Weird, whites have been in the back burner since 1960s, yet we're not committing crimes on an epic level. Also, it's weird how literally this same story of in every nation and also the African continent. But yeah, let's blame the white man more. Getting 11 likes. So what is it exactly? Well, it wasn't ratioed per se. And yeah, I was gonna say Chicago, the city of Chicago. I always joke is like the Chicago Bears. Growing up, every single year, they would always say Bears have great defense. They're gonna be the football. They're gonna be great next year, and it'd be hilarious because no, in fact, they were not. They were rudimentary at best and lose sports balls games left and right. Yeah, I'm sure the city of Chicago, like the Chicago Bears, they'll be a safe, great place next year. Haha, this dark humor kind of sad because people live there who are honestly good people. But yeah, I unfortunately don't see things getting better in Chicago or the suburbs. But I mean, let me know your thoughts because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have a Houston man who was arrested for assaulting a old man with dementia, had his bond dramatically lowered, and now he just beat a woman. Which, yeah, not just in Illinois, also in shitties or, Democrat hells like Houston, which is so hot, I can't imagine living there for more than 18 seconds. I visited a couple times, and yeah, I think by the time I went from my car to the client's door, I was already sweating. It's ridiculously hot there. Now, this is brought to us thanks to End Wokeness, and he says, quote, breaking, Houston man who beat an old man with dementia was released with a bond lowered from $1 million to $20,000. He just assaulted a woman, unquote. Yeah. Who are these terrible judges? Lower the bond. Again, he beat a old man with dementia. What kind of animal is this? How morally empty are you to abuse the elderly? Someone who's near defenseless. He's got dementia. This is ridiculous behavior. Now, it's about 28 seconds long. It's a little visual warning. It's obviously not good. This is brought to us thanks to Fox 28 News.
Forget. A man beats an elderly victim to the ground for trying to get into his car in December 2023 at La Michicana food store in North Houston. That victim's family says he was simply confused because he has Alzheimer's. The man in the red here is Trayvon Lockridge. He was arrested, but his bond.
What was that place called again? And I guess it wasn't dementia. It was Alzheimer's was it an offset dementia? You lose me out the way. I think dementia you get confused. Alzheimer's I forget. Which, yeah, I do really pray that they actually cure
victim
that.
To the ground for trying to get into his car in December 2023 at La Michicana food store in North Houston. That victim's family says he was simply confused because he has Alzheimer's. The man in the red here.
So yeah, so the old man looks like he was at the car, but the old man was looking inside the car, which again, that's suspicious, but it's not like he had a crowbar or a baseball bat trying to break into the car. You didn't really see, you don't see that. And the big guy just smashes him to the ground, and then, which again, if someone's poking in your car, it's suspicious, I understand that. But he pushed him to the ground and escalates it even more by kicking him when he's down, which, yeah, that's a piece of shit thing to do.
In North Houston. That victim's family says he was simply confused because he has Alzheimer's. The man in the red here is Trayvon Lockridge. He was arrested, but his bond was then lowered, and he posted it.
And of course, he gets out. And he's out, and, now he's wanted again.
Wanted for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and a shooting. Forget. A man.
Jeez. Hey. Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah, you gotta watch out for your elderly family members. That's definitely not safe these days. This went pretty well. I got 970,000 views and 33,000 likes. One of the first comments comes to us thanks to Gunther Eagleman, who says, quote, WTF is wrong with these judges. This dude should have been in prison with no bond, getting 5.6 thousand likes. Which, yeah. Hurting someone who has Alzheimer's, who barely knows where they are, when they were clearly not representing a threat to your life, and kicking them when he's down? Is this one of those evil leftist judges, or are they inebriated? Now you also have Cool Christian Engineer who says, quote, Trump, law and order needs to be restored, and these criminals would face real consequences, getting 21 likes. Now, again, this is also I was about to say a state. It is a state, but it's a city thing, too. This isn't really I think we do have a problem around the U.S. in terms of, more and more violent crime, but in terms of, Trump on a federal level, I'm not sure. And let me know in the comments, what do you think Trump could do to perhaps, stop some of this? You have Barefoot Pregnant saying, quote, this is what happens when justice is replaced with woke insanity, getting 37 likes. Which, again, that's another common leftist talking point in terms of they want to talk about bail reform and how no one should ever have to post bail. I mean, there are certain instances where it makes sense, like beating up an old man. Yeah. Paul Zupa says, quote, what's with Houston going soft on thugs, getting 151 likes? Great question. Sarah Rose says, quote, nothing will change under Trump as long as progressives run cities and states. Gain 2,000 likes and a friendly reminder to vote often. Again, a lot of people in the United States, specifically culturally speaking, everyone talks about the election from a presidential perspective. Everyone gets riled up every 4 years and you have a high percentage of turnout, but barely anyone shows up in the midterms, and even fewer people actually show up and vote on local levels, which in many cases, that's where you're going to have the biggest, well, great or bad things happen to you, is, in terms of politics affecting your daily life. Joseph DiParlio says, quote, unreal, why do they want criminals on the street? Getting 169 likes. Matt Van Swole says, this man should have gone to prison for life. Seriously, throw away the key. He should never see the light of day again. Getting 1,000 likes. Ms. Bell says, quote, can we start holding these judges responsible for letting people back on the streets? If the judge didn't lower bail, another crime would not have been committed. Seems like it would make this problem less common. Getting 425 likes. Yep. Let's see here. I'm not seeing any contrarian statements thus far. You have somebody named Patriot Archie saying, quote, until this wave of Biden crime settles down, every woman should conceal carry handgun. I agree. And it says, facts they don't tell you about, well, I try to keep this moderately family friendly, so I'm going to change the vernacular, but you'll still get the point. And it says 550 instances of men abusing women in the worst possible way are prevented by showing a gun. 1,400 murders are prevented every day by showing a gun. They say law-abiding citizens use guns over 2 million times per year to protect themselves. It's actually estimated between 2 million and 5 million times per year. Also, another reason not to trust the government, when Biden was in office, the CDC, which to their credit, they used to track these crime statistics, interestingly enough, they stopped that because they were showing them data. I suspect because it was showing them data that the Democrats didn't like to see. Is that God made man, but Samuel Colt made man equal, which is a saying referencing Samuel Colt, who is the successful patent holder and inventor of the first viable revolver. Prior to him, fun fact of the day, revolvers would have a lot of misfires, the timing wasn't right, but thanks to Samuel Colt, the modern revolver as we know it today was born. And it's one of those things where, again, physically speaking, women on average are going to be a lot weaker than men physically. You know what equals the playing field? Good old 9mm. Or if you feel so inclined, maybe God's caliber at 45 ACP. Now that got 90 likes, so I think should get more, 91 likes. And a little bit more ADHD. Reminds me of Ted Nugent, one of my favorite sayings of him, which again, I don't advocate violence on the YouTube, of course. He says, I don't like repeat offenders. I like dead offenders, in reference to asking him, do you think people should carry a gun all the time? Great way to defend yourself. I would say probably the most optimal. Captive Dreamer says, quote, starting to think we don't actually have a quote-unquote white supremacy at all, getting 915 likes. As a lot of these comments are starting to make it about race because the two perpetrators, well, the guy who beat the old man up, he was African-American. His friend, and I don't think it's his accomplice, but his friend who was standing by, who didn't, I looked at the video, it doesn't look like he actually took partake in the altercation, or let's be honest, the abuse and, the assault. It didn't look like he actually partaked. And the gentleman who was being attacked, the elderly white guy, he was, Caucasian. The Truth Warrior says, quote, the family should sue this idiot judge for letting the animal walk free, getting 69 likes, which, yeah, that's a good question, actually. I'm not sure legally speaking, could you do that? Florida 1 says, quote, Houston, New York City, Chirac, Minneapolis, Denver, San Francisco, etc. How will we ever repair the judicial system? Gave 42 likes. Vote. Many, again, not every single judge is voted upon, but many judges and sheriffs, they are. So again, you want change on a local level, get some nice Hobby Lobby, poster board, go out there and peacefully let your ideals be known, and let them know the track record of those judges. There are a lot of rhinos out there as well. Don't forget, pejoratively known as Republicans in name only. You have someone who has a picture of Abraham Lincoln and says, well, it's made up quote, says, stay strapped or get clapped. It also says, eat shit commies, getting 11 likes. It says, post us thanks to salty KGB agent. He says, keep your head on a swivel. And again, it's a shame. Well, that's an old Webley revolver. Atomic Trucker says, quote, given that this is in Texas, and it says statistics show that criminals commit less crime after they've been shot, which, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what that study is noted, but I believe that study got 12 likes. And yeah, it is a Webley revolver, the unique one that actually cylinder doesn't rotate out to the left or right, but it actually breaks open, like physically you pivot it, which, not to be too much of a gun nerd or aficionado, but yeah. But I mean, let me know. Do you think people ever actually vote differently or more accurately get actively involved in voting on a local level? And what would it take to get rid of these, what I think clearly activist judges? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Representative Jasmine Crockett going on Jimmy Kimmel, saying that policies don't matter and Democrats should focus on vibes. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Paul Zazupa. And he says, quote, Crockett had a disastrous appearance on Jimmy Kimmel, where she actually said, I don't think about that honestly. Policy is what we need to be fighting about. We need to be focusing on vibes. He says Crockett is a sloppy mess. Which, yeah, fact check. The community noted fact check true. Let's hear. Perhaps she will give an articulate reason as to why. I mean, obviously not, but let's hear what she has to say. Which, to her credit, she's more articulate than me. Not, in terms of ideology, but, the speaking and the stuttering and the lack thereof.
I don't think that, honestly, policy is what we need to be fighting about. Because guess what? Can't nobody tell you what Donald Trump's policies were.
Fact check false. He literally won because of his policies. He articulated many policies that Kamala then copied. I mean, remember the no tax on tips? Remember get rid of the income tax on a federal level? Still hoping those things will be coming to the forefront. Remember he said he's going to drill, baby, drill? Bring down the cost of gasoline? He articulated many policies. Kamala, I mean, she was running the vibe campaign. And when she had one or two ideas, they were so horrifying, the American public said, oh, dear God, no. Like taxing unrealized gains, which, yeah, that would destroy the economy viscerally. But perhaps I spoke too soon. There's still about 22 seconds left for Jasmine.
At all.
I'll rewind it.
At all. You ask them, what policies? I don't know, but he's going to bring down the cost of
What about closing the southern border? That's not a great policy. It's working pretty good.
eggs.
That'd be kind of nice. People wonder, why did eggs spike when Trump first got into office? Who killed all the chickens? Spoiler, Democrats. Biden administration. They were worried about possible bird flu, so they culled the population. They got rid of a lot of chickens. And it is coming back down.
But last time I checked, that didn't happen, right? Mm-hmm. It'd be like, well, we're saying it's Project 2025. No, Donald said he knows nothing about that. And then what happened? All the Project 2025 started to come around. So, I don't even think that it's policy. I think that people are voting on vibes. I think that
people are voting on vibes, which is meant to be vacuous. But you know what? Crazy as it sounds, I never thought I'd say it. I never thought I would see the day. It's finally happened. I'm going to say it. Jasmine Crockett is not entirely mentally vacuous in the statement. I say that because some of the most successful political campaigns in history, as stupid as it sounds, as mentally vacuous as it is, were won because of vibes. Most famously, one of the best vibes in marketing campaigns ever, Barack Obama, who literally won because of those posters and those speeches about hope and change. Granted, I mean, shoot, I didn't agree with any of Obama's policies, but I mean, his marketing was exceptional. And he had one or two good ideas that, maybe shut down Gitmo, maybe stop the wars. Never did those things, but nevertheless, he had one or two good ideas. Kamala was all vibes and didn't work. Now, the mentally vacuous thing, of course, is her saying we need to lean into that. Now, again, they will get some votes and campaign dollars with people voting on vibes. People do it on the left especially, and there are some people who do it on the right. It's so stupid and asinine. I almost think we should have not a test to vote per se, but if you're voting for a candidate, it should be a write-in only, so you have to know the damn name, and give me 3 reasons why you're voting for them. 3 specific policies that you best identify with that you'll think will make our country better. Dare I say, make it great again. There's nothing I respect less than an uninformed voter. People do on the right too, I know. They say, but again, the right also doesn't have a whole mantra and philosophy of, quote unquote, vote blue no matter who. And that's a big part of the policy. And again, she's going to raise a lot of campaign funds with that methodology. Now, the real question is, does the average American still go with the vibes thing? Millions do, but I don't. Maybe I'm feeling foolishly optimistic today, but I think the average voter is starting to do a little bit more research these days. They're starting to think what policies are best prescribed to help my family, help my community, help our country long term. So again, I think, as crazy as it sounds, she's kind of right in terms of people vote on vibes. They shouldn't. But I think the average voter, again, maybe I'm hopelessly optimistic, but I think they are starting to do a lot more research these days. That's why I think Trump won, because of a lot of his policies. Also, the opponent, Kamala, for months didn't have any policies at all. Mark Cuban famously said, "Oh yeah, it doesn't matter if Kamala flip-flops or doesn't have policies, until day of the election." What? Yeah, that's yeah, he did one thing right. He's a billionaire, of course, but yeah, it is funny that Mark Cuban also scrubbed his X account of all the support of Kamala when she lost. Now, again, this didn't go as far as I thought it would. It got about 50,000 views and 1.5 thousand likes. Now, scrolling down to the comments, so the first ones comes to us thanks to Matt Van Swole saying, quote, "The most eye-opening moments for me were, quote, A, when Trump said, quote, when Trump closed the border, no new laws. B, when Trump began cleaning up the Western North Carolina faster than Joe Biden. These are two items in particular that were the tipping point for me, getting 89, let's make it 90 likes. We also have the Dibster saying, quote, on vibes, like gang vibes, terrorist vibes, good God, these people are stupid, getting 27 likes. Which, I was going to say there's probably some truth to that statement, but again, in politics, vibes, to a certain extent, does work. Now, you also have the Redneck Garage saying, quote, that's a nice way of saying she's an idiot, getting 15 likes. You have Doge.ai saying, what is this? It says automated? So did they just do an auto response? Saying, quote, Crockett's vibes or policy admission is peak DC dysfunction, prioritizing optics while real issues not. Democrats would rather meme their way through the crisis than fix the border crisis, inflation, or $34 trillion in debt. But hey, at least merchant sales are booming, getting 30 likes. Sick and Twisted, interesting profile account, says, quote, useful idiot moron. And he has the cool sunglasses emoji, Texas flag emoji, and United States flag emoji. And it's a picture of AOC and Jasmine Crockett. And there's the meme says, quote, Dumb and Dumber, getting 14 likes, which, again, they're AOC, well, mentally vacuous, but exceptionally brilliant in social media and raising campaign funds. There's a reason she gets elected time and time again, mostly with campaign funds and donations outside of her district, but nevertheless, again, she's objectively successful in politics. But yeah, in terms of IQ status, I don't think it would be that high. You also have Dysfunctional Veteran. He has a picture of a bunch of eyelashes reposted from AIM saying, quote, it's so windy in DC today that Jasmine Crockett lost her eyelashes, getting that got 1,000 likes. He got 2 likes for that when he reposted it, which, again, I'll never understand why so many women spend so much money on eyelashes. It means like so many of them do. And I can't but think like no one really cares. Let's see here. Trump says they can't even talk policy because their policy is communism, getting 8 likes, which, yeah, vibes do. It also helps to focus on vibes when your ideology and logic and reason are not on your side. For Freedom says Crockett is an unqualified idiot, getting 14 likes. Kim Lu, K love you long time. I was gonna say that's an old joke. But that profile is named that, and they say, quote, the illegal vibes and DEI vibes and trans vibes is why Democrats are a mess, and here is their voice, getting 4 likes. And yeah, they have record low approval rating. Let's see, I'll do one more. Max Suave says, Representative Sheldon Daniels has a golden opportunity here. She's giving him a soundbite after soundbite for his campaign. If you haven't already, donate to Sheldon's campaign so we can see glorious reaction to Crockett losing her seat. Gain 10 likes. Which, again, if you want to see, especially, again, on a local level, if you want to see change in politics, that's one of the best things you can do. So, again, we'll see in terms of, again, she's one of the most viral people in politics these days. People on the left seem to love her more and more. She knows how to do the social media, as they would say. But is that enough to translate into a long-term, successful political career, more than she already has? Let me know in the comments, because, as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, Stellantis recalling about 50,000 vehicles, including Alfa Romeo, Dodge, and Maserati. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Michael Gunther, who's a writer at Car Scoops. And he says, quote, the larger of the two recalls affects the Hornet and Tonale siblings. Here you can see a funny little amalgamation of the two cars kind of stitched together in picture form. I was going to say, because, yeah, they're clones. Well, very similar to how GM has 4 major products or brands. Yeah, spoiler alert, a lot of them have the same skeletons or the same, base of the vehicle. They just get slightly different body panels, paint, and accessories. And yeah, it's kind of sad, but believe it or not, it's been that way for over 100 years in the automotive community. And yeah, which, I feel cheated if I'm, they're trying to sell the fancy Italian engineering of Alfa Romeo. And then, yeah, it's actually just a Dodge rebranded and, yeah, disappointing. But nevertheless, in terms of authenticity of an Italian experience from a consumer perspective, the reliability is on point for that. Now, they say, quote, it's a recall palooza as Stellantis has issued a couple recalls shortly. The latest batch includes a number of vehicles, including their 3 brands there. Starting with the former, Dodge is recalling 40,372 Hornets, while Alfa is recalling 8,122 Tonales. The badge engineering crossovers have a display module that may not show a rear-view camera image when in reverse. This means they failed to comply with the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards, which, was it 2000? Was that 2010? That was one of the, I believe it was an executive order. Remember, Obama did pass it, but that regulated that every vehicle sold in the United States, new vehicle, has to have a rear-view camera installed, or present from the factory. Now, they say, quote, the government agency says approximately 1% of the 48,494 vehicles may have, quote, cold soldering on a voltage regulator and or software defect with the microprocessor that may result in the vehicle not displaying the rear view image. This impacts the 2023 to 2025 models, and Stellantis began an investigation in March last year in Europe. And here, maybe I should do a visual disclaimer. Here you can see some of the pictures of the vehicle, which, yeah, there's a reason they are discounting this SUV bike. What my friend got it for, like 12 grand plus. Yeah, another issue with Stellantis is they don't know how to price their models appropriately or more accurately for that matter. And here you can see, same damn car, but slightly different paint, which, to Alfa Romeo's credit, green kind of looks good on that car. A little dark green there. But yeah, in terms of core vehicle, it's, exactly the same. Which, again, the economies of scale and, it saves a lot of money from the manufacturer perspective, of course, which is why every company does this. But yeah. Now they say, quote, the Maserati is also recalling the 21 Gran Turismo vehicle. Oh, that's it? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, Maserati. Nothing in the world depreciates more than Maserati. Talk about a brand that's been dragged through the mud throughout the past couple decades. I actually had a friend buy one, and obviously you want to be cordial with your friends. There's an achievement that she got in life in terms of just to celebrate a milestone. So obviously the Facebook comment was, congratulations, that's so cool. In my head, I was like, God, you're a moron. You just bought the #1 depreciating car new from the dealership. And also the reliability is going to be on par with a Ford, which, not great. Now, again, they say, quote, Maserati is recalling 21 Gran Turismo vehicles from the 2024 model year. These have a very specific textured top coat that can cause, manufacturer and tire labels to fall off. In this odd recall, but federal motor safety standards require that certain information to be displayed on a permanently affixed placard on the driver's side pillar. Since the label can fall off, the vehicles don't comply with the regulation, which even the stickers aren't reliable for Maserati. They probably didn't spice up or, pay a premium for the nice 3M adhesive. Might use some Chinese solvent. I'm only kidding. Who knows what they actually use? Now they say, quote, the cars feature a Nero. This does sound fancy. I'll give Maserati credit. The car features a Nero Scarabeo clear coat exterior, and Maserati determined the, quote, root cause to be that the glue applied to the label may not properly adhere to the finished label in final finish clear coat. The fix is simple as you expect owners get a new labels that hopefully stay in place, which also shows how comically overregulated vehicles are. You have to have that sticker. Most people, I can't help but think, I'm making up statistics here, I can't help but think more than 50% of people never looked at that sticker once in their life. Like if you're like a gearhead or you really care about your car's safety and fuel optimization, you'll check it. Because again, that gives you the optimal pressure for your tires. But yeah, go to the comments, you got that saying, not even close to running, comes to third. Rochester says, LOL Maserati. Again, Beer Thirsty says, 3 Stellantis recalls in one day, recall battle of the year. Rivaldo says, I never thought that Alfa, Dodge, and Maserati could sell 50,000 cars in almost 2 years. Also a slight at their poor sales, where 2024, their sales year over year went down by like 43%, and their profit went down by 47%. It was abysmally, it was terrible. And it is kind of hilarious. You're spending all this money, 6 figures on these Maseratis. Ugh, and it's got, of course, they all have only automatic transmissions. So you see the boring, anemic little paddle shifters that, again, I've used. Well, a friend let me borrow drive down the street a Mitsubishi Lancer, not the Evo, but right under that. And there's nothing more boring than clicking the shifters on the paddles, which, yeah, even back then I thought was boring and anemic at best. And Stellantis already is made fun of, not every day, but many days of the week for their unreliability, their bad track record. Their sales are I mean, just viscerally, I mean, going down the drain. They need a turnaround plan. The CEO was finally ousted or, left early last year. But yeah, gotta say, Stellantis, I'm not sure who in theory is in charge of your quality assurance department, but gotta say, Stellantis, you are certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone, everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.